I'm struggling. I'm going to be honest. Can I tell them how I'm struggling? Kiki has some friends over.
It's Easter.
And I've just made a pile of toast, white toast, with soggy butter. And she's taken it in there with a big pot of jam and cups of tea. And they're sat in bed having had their sleepover, chatting, munching on toast and tea. And I've got a little bit of youth envy.
What, that they can do that without consequence?
They know nothing of what they do. They don't know that they're raising their blood sugar beyond anything. They don't know that they're not looking after their gut. They're snuggled up in bed having laughed all night last night. God knows what they were talking
Or that
about.
they're laying the sort of foundations for visceral fat.
Visceral fat, heart disease, diabetes.
Clogging arteries.
But
Oh, those halcyon innocent days.
But also, Mark was like this with the butter. And I was like, eating before 11 because I do my 16. I just thought, I want to get into a snuggy bed and just eat loads of buttered
toast. Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. That's
and just
nice.
eat loads of buttered toast in bed.
Is that a euphemism?
With tea. Can we have a day, one day, where we just sit in bed and eat butter? Will you shut up? I'm talking about butter and toast, not about sex.
I like buttering.
Mark, now stop it.
Bread. The other week I had...
Can we have a morning where we just have... Who has tea and toast? Do any of you have tea and toast in bed anymore? I bet you this lot, loads of them do.
Why?
Because I just know, because they always go, yeah, why? What's the problem with that? We're so fucked up. We don't realise we're fucked up. That's what Jane Moore always says to me.
Oh, right.
If Jane Moore was here, she'd go, why don't you just have buttered toast in bed?
Because I think you need to be a bit of a psychopath just to lie there and just do it quite happily.
So who is enough of a psychopath to just happily have toast and butter in bed?
If I wake up and stay in bed beyond 1 second, I feel guilty as hell.
Who has toast and butter in bed willy-nilly? It's
None
not
of them.
your birthday.
No one. April, no. Shell Summer, no.
But April's not... Something sweet, something savoury's not having it because of
Elijah's
crumbs.
no
I don't care about
crumbs.
the crumbs.
Helen Bridget, sometimes. Sarah Markey's doing it now.
She's not. Are you, Sarah? Are you in bed and now eating toast and butter?
Bloody hell.
Oh, fucking hell. I even found a jar of lemon curd in the cupboard.
Oh, I used to like
and
that.
I went, would they like tea? If that's all right. So I made them 3 big hot mugs
Claire
of tea.
McNabb does.
And she's taken in a pot of sugar in case they... Hello. How is it? We're live. So the thought to me...
You enjoying your toast?
Can we have a slice? The thought to me... Just got the most teenage look.
I was so furious. If a
Might
knife...
have heard us saying what they're having.
If a butter knife could cut... No, if looks could cut...
Ashley, do you ever have buttered toast in bed just for the hell of it, not being your birthday? Stop talking about crumbs, Nick Jenkins. What's the matter with you all?
Elaine, well, it is a bit horrible, especially when they get in between your bits.
Right, but, okay, the idea sounds better than the actual doing, just like having a bath and, yeah.
Oh, I like just lemon curd on sheets.
Okay, all right, snuggled up on the sofa, would you just, in the morning, just get up and have white... It was like Lee was making me laugh so much because my friend Lee's gone back to live with his parents up north since the pandemic in Grimsby, and he went, because do you know what the most shocking thing is about living with my parents again? I guess they just got white bread for no reason.
You've got white bread for no reason. Well, it's just standard.
And he was like frozen in the kitchen, like the first day back with them, as they were just popping white toast in the freezer. And he was like, "What are you doing? What the hell do you think you're doing? We're having some toast." He goes, "But it's white toast." I said, "You've been down south too long." Here, it's like, what? White toast? Without any avocado on it. Without the punishment of avocado on your toast.
Can I just say, I'm just thinking about this properly rather than just not listening to anything you're saying and just kind of saying, yeah. And I don't like eating in bed.
No, I don't actually.
I don't actually like it. I find it a bit repulsive.
Oh, no, but there he is.
Oh, look,
there
Lee.
he is. They eat it like it's not a treat. That was the line.
God, what a wonderful world to live in.
it like it's not a treat.
Well, when I think about it, my nan just got it routinely.
Do you know what my nan used to do? My nan is any of your nans with crack, on crack when it comes to toast.
Did she take
Because
crack?
my nan, practically, when you hear what she used to have for breakfast, she used to fry 4 to 6 slices of white toast, fry it, and she'd just go like this with a big knife. She'd go cut, 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 like that, just like it was nothing, like it wasn't a treat, like it wasn't Christmas or bar mitzvah or something. And she would sit with a big mug of tea. I remember it was lovely, one of those lovely old-fashioned mugs with the blue stripes around, and she'd just crunch her way through.
That's shameless.
She was shameless. She had no shame. The rest of the day, she would go about her day as if she'd done nothing.
She'd feel no guilt.
Nothing. Nothing. She'd crunch it day after day.
Do you
Mind you,
think
she died young.
Do you think as a culture we've attached too much guilt to these things and that we've become obsessed?
Yes.
We can't just do something naughty without going, I've done something naughty.
Yes, that's why I'm trying to take the fear out of food.
Well, let's get some fucking white bread in there.
No way.
Jesus Christ.
Because if I have white toast now, I'm on a trajectory.
You're on a what?
Trajectory.
A trajectory. You're on a phone directory.
I'm on a trajectory.
A directory. Say it.
Trajectory.
Say it.
Trajectory.
Trajectory.
Oh, Sarah's mum, Nan's even worse. Her Nan and Grandad had bread and dripping toast. My Nan used to have bread and dripping on toast on a Monday.
Hang on a
because
minute.
she'd had
hang
a
on
roast
minute,
on a Sunday.
Hang on a minute. You put bread and dripping on toast.
Yeah, so like you've got, you know what dripping is? So you've got,
Oil.
you've poured off all the
Fat.
stuff from the beef,
Right.
right? And you've got the fat and you've got a bit of jelly underneath of the jelly beef. So you dig down and get the bit of the jelly of the beef and the fat and it's my mum still would give her house up for a piece of toast with beef dripping on it.
How old was she when she died?
She was young, but it was her lungs.
It was her lungs. Were her lungs competing for
She was
space?
60 something. No, she was skinny as anything.
Oh. Beef dripping, Faith Goodman says. My nan used to covertly eat Nutella in the kitchen. It makes you wonder where I got it from, doesn't it? Yeah. I used to go as a child into her top cupboard to steal glacé cherries. I was always foraging for sweetness or fatness.
When we were having sleepovers, because this is how this conversation started, we were allowed, my mum was a bit more relaxed about what we ate and stuff. So we were allowed to get toast
Sorry,
it on one
Louisa,
side, and then the other side you slather butter and you put sugar all over it, and then you grill it till it bubbled.
Wow. There's a special place in heaven for Bev Hartnell.
Right.
She eats small brown multi-seeded bread.
Bev.
And
You're just showing off
And
now.
you say it in public.
Bev.
Sourdough.
I might get out my loaf in a minute.
I'm certainly getting out my baguette.
I'm going to show you my loaf and you're going to be so impressed.
Really? I'll show you my malt loaf.
I've taken everything into consideration. It's sour for my gut. It's seeded for everything for my bowel.
This has got horrible. I don't like this. I don't know.
This is cold.
It has. I hate bread that breaks your teeth. And now,
I hate
when
bread
go
that cuts your roof of your mouth like fucking sourdough toast.
Do you know, as you get older, you think, I don't care that I sound like this when I say this, so I'm just going to keep saying it. You know, therein lies crabby old people who are inflexible and don't change their behaviour, right? So now I've become, every time I do it, I slap myself in the face. I go in and I go anywhere and everywhere. Do you do oat milk? That's my first question.
Lee's got a story
First
on
question, and then I go, yes, I'll have an oat milk cappuccino. And then when they say, do you want anything to eat? I go, I'll have smashed avo on sourdough with seeds. And I
What a
literally
prat.
have to take my head and slam it against the table 18
What a
times.
wanker.
Before then going out and thinking, just get a fucking muffin.
But then what are you doing when you get a muffin?
Oh, you're just
You're
really...
setting yourself on a trajectory.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
I'm going to start saying a slippery slope instead of a trajectory. Lee put, they don't have oat milk in Grimsby now, thank God. I'm still working on the lavender bitters.
Lavender
Lee and I
bitters?
went
What are
out the other
lavender
day
bitters?
and we were having, Mark, don't start being stupid.
ADHD.
What were we having?
But what, hang on, what are you
No,
just...
no, wait.
What are lavender bitters?
No, I'm going to tell you, but what's the tequila cocktail?
Babe, your trajectory is all over
Tell
the
me,
place.
Lee,
You're
what
not
was
on
the
right
drink we were
trajectory.
having?
A margarita.
Oh, well, yeah, margarita, thank you. We were having a margarita. Anyway, I'll have the same as her. I'll have a margarita, but can I have a dot of agave syrup? And can I have a squeeze of lime or whatever it was? And he goes, and lavender bitters.
What's lavender bitters?
Fuck knows.
What?
But it was nice.
What is
But
that?
can you imagine him rocking up to Grimsby and asking for lavender bitters?
That's the only drink I can imagine where you come out of it smelling even greater than you did going into it.
Well, it was very bloody nice. I tell you one thing Lee knows about, and that's his cocktails.
Zoe says, honestly, moving to London turned me into a bread wanker.
Whole set with this and his
It's
stand
great.
up.
It's great. I mean, sourdough. What's that other
You need
bread?
to stand up nightly. Just our following,
On
just
bread.
our subs. You'll be at.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Look, we've gone all funny.
You'll need an arena.
I'm just going to turn you over to 4G. Hopefully we're back. Sourdough toast, Greek yogurt, fried eggs and sumac and chili oil.
Oh,
Delicious.
Pam
Pam
PMS.
PMS.
What's happened to you?
Oh,
You must live in Soho or in Covent Garden. I mean, that's so London.
I mean, it's ridiculous, though, isn't it? I mean, I remember when I was younger, the greasy spoon was great. And you
I
would
used
just
to
get
love the
fried
greasy.
bread.
I used to love the greasy.
Do you think greasy
spoon.
spoons are going out of business? Everyone's so fucking wanky.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But in London, I don't think outside of London, because as Lee says, you can't get oat milk in Grimsby.
Fucking hell. I mean, it's got to, oat milk.
We all need to come down a step or two.
What's going to happen after oat
Oh,
milk?
hi, B. Steiber. Welcome as a family guest. B. Steiber, B. Steiber, B. Steiber.
Welcome, B.
Welcome, B. Steiber. Welcome to the family guest area. Nanny Di's in the house.
Nanny Di, I hope your situation is improving. We've come back. Sorry, I was just being distracted by how...
So anyway-
Eggs Benedict is nice. Eggs Benedict is nice.
So that was, we were just, I
Oh, hang
suppose,
on.
how we started talking about that was Easter holidays.
No, babe. We can't do bread and Easter and not talk about hot cross buns.
Well, we are talking about cross my buns.
Cross my buns.
That's what Kiki used to say.
Hot cross buns. Now, hot cross buns.
Oh no, it's
There's
Maddie.
nothing...
Where's my cross my bum?
Cross my
She's
bum.
going, where's my cross my bum?
Can I just say, there's nothing worse than a dry hot cross bun with one raisin in it.
Well, what you need to do
Hideous.
is go for the luxury M&S with extra juicy sultanas.
Is that I like a hot cross bun when you open it and cut through it.
And you see
almost-
raisins.
No, it's almost still dough.
You do have to be very careful with hot cross buns.
It's
Maybe
almost
we
dough.
need to do a hot cross bun tasting with Dina
I think we do.
for some.
Well, I just think generally for the channel. I think it's a
the
matter
channel.
of urgency.
Okay.
And I think
Right,
you
we're
can't
gonna
have
do this
too
for
much
you
butter in
guys.
it. But
Right.
It's got to be
But-
doughy. It's almost like when you put the knife in, guys. Okay, so it's spherical that way.
M&S
When
are
you put the
great.
knife in down, it loses its spherical nature and becomes flat because it's gooey. It's got to be gooey.
You know what you need? You need very tight holes.
I
You
love
know
our
when you've
buns,
got like,
Edward.
I get really annoyed if you see one in a baker and it's all huge and lovely. You open it and it's light. It's got to have weight to it. Hot cross bun.
It's got to have weight and it's got to be slightly doughy, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not
You know
doughy,
what
it's
I
not-
like to do? I like to toast it, butter it, and then cinnamon it. Put cinnamon on the butter and then toast it again with the butter.
Yeah. Lauren, thoughts on non-traditional hot cross bun flavours? It's total sacrilege.
I quite like the cheese and Marmite one from Sainsbury's, but I don't.
Sainsbury's?
No, my M&S
Sorry,
cheese
my
and Marmite one
bowel
is
just
so
fell out.
good because it's really stodgy. I don't like the chocolate ones and all that. But sober or drunk taste test. That's a good question. Hot cross bun. We need to do a hot cross bun tasting. Maybe we need to get Lisa over. Oh, where is it? Do you want me to do it, Mark? My mum used to give us kippers at Easter. Oh no. We used to go down in the morning. It was the most exciting day. Easter holidays were brilliant because you always have loads of sleepovers like my girls are. But it was that Easter morning. We'd go to bed so excited. We'd come down. The whole house would be transformed. My mum was, not the house, but the table. She'd blow out all the eggs herself. She'd hand paint them. She'd lay all the table. She'd hide all the. If you were in the members area yesterday, you would have heard me talk about this, but on Saturday. But yeah, and then she would set up an Easter egg hunt in the house, and Easter was a massive deal for us. Oh, I know what we're to ask. Has anyone seen anywhere a bueno egg?
Also, guys.
I'm on the hunt for a bueno egg.
Shh, listen. If you bought a Kinder egg in the last couple of days, take it back. Because apparently there's a bit of a recall on them.
Yes.
Salmonella scare with a couple of Kinder eggs. What are you asking? Nanny died.
If anyone... Oh, Poundland.
Oh.
So this is they've got them in... Idiot. Bloody idiot. Have you taken your eye out? Do you remember that as a kid? You'd take your eye out with that. Have they what? Bueno.
What?
Bueno eggs apparently in Poundland.
Are
Just
they?
text Ian.
Make a
I'll
note.
get
Make a
them.
note.
I think she's in Poundland.
Oh, Christ.
Amazon. No, I looked on Amazon.
Oh, it really hurt. Bueno eggs. Yeah, we were talking about this. My mum did nothing for Easter, apart from... Did you, Mum? You didn't celebrate it at all? Didn't have eggs? Didn't have anything? But I'd go down to my nan's, and her neighbours, who were called George and Thelma, they were Thelma and George. They were out of a sitcom. They lived in a bungalow 3 doors down. He was a major, and he used to draw his moustache on, and it was amazing. She was the UK snooker women's champion, and they were the only people I remember, other than my nan, who bought me Easter eggs when I went down there. Isn't that sweet?
Who?
Major George.
Major George.
And
Oh.
snooker champion Thelma.
Tesco do. Mark, Debbie Saunderson says Tesco have Bueno eggs. We've got to go and get them. That's how seriously we need them. Because Keith said the other day, all I ever really wanted was a Bueno egg, and you've never got me one. And we were like, oh my God, we've let her down. She wants a Bueno egg. So we're now going on a Bueno egg hunt.
Catch.
Mark! Ah! Mark! That went in my head!
It's the beginning of the Easter holidays.
Idiot.
Can you do that with your... Oh, we saw something
God.
at the weekend where someone contorted into the most ridiculous place, didn't we?
What was it called?
Trap Lord.
Trap Lord. It was fabulous.
Yeah, check
South
it
West
out.
Wales.
Trap Lord. It's not...
Actually,
it's
we
at
had
the 180 Studios
Actually,
on the Strand.
We had such a nice weekend, didn't we? We went to...
Well, you did, I didn't.
We went on Saturday to our favourite Chinese restaurant in Chinatown. The best. It's more pricey, but every single thing you eat is delicious. And they do a lovely lychee cocktail. And it's called Plum Valley
I sniffed
on
your
Gerrard
cocktail.
Street. It was
Did
good,
you notice
wasn't it?
that?
Yeah.
It's a good sniff.
So we went there, and then afterwards we went to see the show, didn't we?
Yeah, which was a youth-orientated critique of essentially the sort of black young male experience of living in London or in an urban centre. And it
Yeah,
was
brilliant.
bloody good. Some
Brilliant.
fantastic dance.
And then,
and
and
rap.
then Sunday, I had friends over for Sunday lunch. I got them Sunday lunch and a lovely pavlova that you saw. So we had a really nice.
And I helped Nanny Di with a dilemma she's got, which you're going to hear about on the
Oh
vlog.
no! Did you vlog it all?
Didn't vlog any of it over there, no. Didn't think. Isn't that ridiculous?
You are kidding me!
No, I didn't
If
know-
that had happened with me, you go. I hope you vlogged it.
I don't know what happened. I didn't have my vlogging hat on. That's ridiculous, isn't it? What an absolute idiot.
You are such an
Mum, why
idiot.
didn't you make me vlog it?
They would have
to be
loved
honest,
to
to
have
be honest
seen
with
that.
you, well, they'll know the problem because we
Well,
talked
don't
about.
tell them now.
But no,
Because
no,
they'll be
I'm not-
annoyed with you for
I'm
not
going
vlogging
to.
it.
But I've got to go back and help her anyway, so I'll re-vlog it then. Yeah, so there you go. I think actually, without giving away what I was doing, I was more in kind of rescue mode than really thinking about vlogging. Do you know what I mean? I was in.
You're backpedaling now. If that had been me, you should have said, have you not vlogged it? I always vlog stuff. You're a terrible vlogger. You don't vlog anything. Don't always vlog stuff, Lee. Lee knows.
Well, I have to say your
Went to
footage.
the theatre the other day
no,
with
hang on,
Lee
your
and we
footage in
vlogged it.
Brighton was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I'm just taking a bit of a back seat for a while.
Did everyone enjoy the Vlighton vlogs? The
Brighton vlogs are fun. I have to say, guys, it was really nice editing it, and it was really fun, and it had me chuckling all the way through. So thank you, Lee, Lisa, and Nadia.
Don't forget
And
to
Kaz.
watch Mark's rushes. They went out yesterday.
Oh, the weekly rush is a good one this
They're
week.
really, really good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
check them out. Honest to God, there's not a programme on telly as good as that Weekly Rushes.
For all your movie
He
and
puts so much
streaming
work
news.
into it.
Yeah, it's a nice dip in, dip out, pretend you kind of know everything that's going on, and there you go. So we've done hot cross buns, we've done all sorts of things, haven't we?
Right, we better do the news.
Okay, well, one of the top stories today, obviously the Grammys were last night, and the big news at the Grammys was Zelensky had I don't know if it was pre-recorded, I presume it was, message that he sort of addressed the Grammy audience with. It kind of felt like, why couldn't they have done that at the Ed Sheeran sort of Ukrainian, fundraising gig? So, Zelensky told everyone at the Grammys that our musicians wear body armor rather than tuxedos. He said that war is the opposite to music, adding that Ukrainian children draw swooping rockets, not shooting stars. He's literally going to become... He's like the manifestation of a living saint.
Isn't he? He really is.
I mean, the way he kind of... It's very sort of poetic. I mean, it's a bit like you, Lee, sort of stand-up comedian turn... I mean, could you imagine Lee running a country?
We'd like to run it with Zelensky, would I? Hand in hand, wouldn't you?
I've just got...
He's got a tiny crush on Zelensky, only tiny.
I can imagine Lee being the sort of the public voice of Grimsby. Yeah, I can see that. I get Lee vibes.
Look, Nanny Di says her Weekly Rushes is her favourite programme.
Oh, bless you, Ma. It's made for you.
I'd be his first lady, said Lee.
So anyway, so Zelensky was there, but I understand. I it's one of those situations where I looked at most of the winners and I hadn't heard of any of them. The Foo Fighters, rather poignantly, won a Grammy for Best Live Performance, I think. And obviously that's given a sort of certain sadness, given the death of their drummer. And I think Kanye won again, didn't he, last night? That's
I don't know. I don't think.
I think did Kanye win? Is anyone here who's sort of au fait with the Grammys
How come you were
last night?
talking about the Grammys and you don't know anything about it?
Well, because...
Why didn't you do any research?
Well, no, because I didn't have fucking time this morning.
Well, then let's not talk about the Grammys.
No, because I wanted to
to
mention the fact that Zelensky
well, then
was
don't
talking.
go into who's won and who's not.
I'm
because you
asking them. Kanye, I'm sure he did. I want people to tell us if he won, that's all. God almighty. All right, talk about your story, which is... Oh, no, I've got a great story there, which is a terrible story, which is the Baby P mother story.
I don't want to talk about that.
You asked me to pull it up.
I know, but I think everyone was feeling a bit flat and we've all just cheered ourselves up a bit, and I think
So you've told me to shut up about the Grammys. I
No,
pulled
I
up your
was joking.
story.
I was joking.
Well, this was tragic because this was all over the papers actually yesterday, and we weren't on
just his
the
little
channel.
face looking up.
And this is the fact that the mother, Tracy Connolly, we don't know when she's going to be released, but it's imminent, presumably, because her parole board has given permission for her to be released.
And this is the thing. I didn't realise, maybe you guys remember, that she was actually released in 2013. And then she broke her parole by selling nude photos of herself and was taken back into prison. And I think she's failed a number of parole board session, whatever they are. But she's just done her tariff now. She's just done the time. So you can't extend somebody's time.
Right.
And she's asking for extra protection because she thinks she will be killed before she gets to leave. She thinks it's, activated, as it says in the paper, the other lags who want to try and finish her off before she leaves. Her boyfriend at the time has got life, and I wonder what that will mean for him. How long is the life?
Well, his is a minimum, wasn't it a minimum 10 years or something for him?
I mean, 10 years. This boy
minimum term of 10 years.
10 years?
And given a 12-year term to run concurrently over his role in baby Peter's death.
So he must be out then. She served 14.
Well, maybe he hasn't passed his parole board. Owen got an indefinite sentence with a minimum term of 3 years. I think that was the other guy. The other guy, yeah.
Who was but
Dominic Raab has pushed back, saying that he wants to appeal against her release.
Look at that beautiful baby. He was... They say he had, I think, over 50 injuries. He had a fractured spine. He will have definitely died of agony. He was seen by social services and various people 60 times. 60 times, and was never taken into care. I just think, how can we justify releasing these people? We just can't. you're not gonna be a different person when you come out of prison, are you? I mean, you've got to be a sadist to do that.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, the whole thing is I mean, you have to have some kind of statute, don't you, that kind of says, this is what we've said. I mean, I don't know how anyone quantifies a punishment for something
No.
like that. And I suppose
Well, they had this
there
retired.
are huge legal arguments as to why
Yeah.
obviously you can't have an emotional court, because otherwise it spills into... I mean, the argument is that we can't overly punish someone, because otherwise you
No,
can't...
but aren't you supposed to be put away if you're a danger? I mean, how is that man? And of course, we will never know, because none of them actually admitted it to it. We will never know what coercive control might have been in place, who was the person that actually carried it. We will never know. But I just think, you know, how much rehabilitation, for instance, what's the boyfriend's name, has he had? I mean, how can you rehabilitate somebody that was able to injure that poor baby over and over again? You know, he's going to be the same person when he comes out.
Well, I suppose it's whether you believe in rehabilitation. I mean,
Well, I believe that people can be rehabilitated, but I don't think our prison service rehabilitates people. Our prison service is about locking people up, mostly for 22 hours a day in a cell in most prisons, because we're overwhelmed, and then just chucking them back out.
Yeah, you wonder about the psych assessments that are going on, don't you? To kind of, I don't know.
What do you think, guys?
I just think it always feels so arbitrary, the sort of punishments that are meted out or handed out, and it does always seem that they never seem enough somehow when it comes to child abuse or cases like this, neglect and abuse, do they? They never seem enough. It's like you never see a number like, I don't know why, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but if you were to see the number 35 years, you go, okay, well, that seems appropriate. But when you see numbers like 10 or 6 or 13, it just, you know, for a life, it just doesn't feel right. Elaine Denning, whether someone has had rehab or not, how the hell are we expected to even able to forgive? And also, you know...
I think we ought to be, as the public, we ought to know what rehabilitation has taken place.
Yeah.
What journey they have been on.
Yeah.
How they have been able to understand that what they did was psychopathic, sadistic, evil, whatever word you want to use. Because we all know that nothing will have been done to do that. So, and yet we're supposed to just accept that these people are going to come back into society.
Faith Goodman says they know what to say on parole board, tick boxes to get released.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Just stepping back a moment, in answer to your question, Nadia. So Kanye won for Best Melodic Rap Performance and Best Rap Song.
Was he there? Because rumour has it that he has gone to get help.
Well, apparently he publicly apologised, didn't he? He made an apology to Kim, saying that his recent harassment has been wrong.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did see that somewhere. He did acknowledge it. Now, whether that was in a sort of moment of lucidity in his sort of bipolar highs or lows, I don't know. And also, just as an addendum to the Foo Fighters also won Best Rock Performance, but Best Rock Song and Best Rock Album. How tragic! In the same year that they lose a key member of their band. That's just awful.
Nanny Dye has just said, because Nanny Dye used to work in libraries and prisons, says I can absolutely vouch for the fact that there is no rehabilitation in prison.
Wow.
So they go in, they get twisted up by the way that, I mean, just being in prison is going to mess you up, and then they come back out again.
It's an interesting point. Leap here. The biggest scandal of the Grammys is Louis C.K. winning after his recent accusations of sexual conduct and the argument for Will Smith losing his Oscar, but then Louis C.K. receiving a Grammy. Oh, I don't know the
I
backstory
don't know
on
that
that.
story,
But,
we'll
yeah.
look into that.
Yeah, head over to the Weekly Rushes for some of the
But
kind of later details.
I
about
really
all that.
hope that Kanye, because the rumours are that he's gone to get help because he needed to. It was just out of control and very scary for Kim and all those involved. So, and for him. I mean, that looked like that was going to just end in tragedy one way or the other if he kept going the way he was. So
I just want one story that popped up, and there's one other thing I just want to quickly talk about. A story that quickly popped up in the Ukrainian war was a curious one. Ukrainian villagers kill Russian soldiers using poison pies. They poisoned the local soldiers. They cooked them pies, said, we'll feed you, and then the soldiers died.
good God.
Yeah, it's like something out of Sweeney Todd.
Isn't it?
Ukrainian villagers killed, 2 soldiers have been killed, 28 taken seriously ill after Ukrainian villagers fed them poisonous pies. We will get the resisting occupiers by all available means.
One of them was taken to intensive care. You don't want them taking up a bed in intensive care. That's gone a bit wrong.
What do you mean?
Says there, one of them had to be taken to intensive care.
Oh, right.
One of the Russian soldiers.
That's odd, and they were trying to kill them. And finally, have you heard of mask fishing? Mask fishing is the latest dating trend that we don't need. It's like catfishing, apparently, but it's all about being behind the mask. Apparently, there's this thing going on where people flirt with each other and they use the mask to conceal exactly what they look like, both on their online sort of dating apps, but also people are kind of flirting and meeting people in public. What is mask fishing? The premise is simple. You spot a hot stranger, you eye flirt, you give them your best smile ever. As they remove their mask, they're not as attractive as you imagined.
It's going to become a show, isn't it?
It's going to become a show, yeah. And apparently, it's a bit of a con. So people are using masks on their profiles to suggest that they look sort of, I don't know, prettier or more alluring than perhaps they are. Someone said, got this woman's number, but little does she know I'm mask fishing her, tweeted one man recently. Similar to catfishing, you can't actually help what you look like with a mask on, whereas catfishing is about deliberately misleading a potential date. Some people are mask fishing on social media and dating apps, explains Sarah, a relationship expert. Mask fishing is the concept that someone who's wearing a mask might be seemingly attractive to the opposite sex. You can only see their eyes and not much of their facial features. It can only last so long, though, mask fishing.
A load of old bollocks.
Isn't it? I mean, the Times is going on about... I mean, there's only so long you can mask fish. Unless you're actually going to kiss, snog and make love with a mask.
But then is it a bit like, do you remember that dating show where they would have to date in the dark? So they had time to get to like the person before they judge them by the way they look. There's something in it.
What, like love at first, like what's it called? Love is blind. Yeah, love is the
And that other one, we're dating in the dark.
I can see the series, The Masked Lovers.
Yep.
Masked Lovers. There you go. And there you have it, guys.
Thank you for spending time with us. We're really excited about that.
Yeah, it was really nice. And have a lovely day. And God only knows what's landing on the channel, but something will at some point.
Love ya.